Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the YTCSC YouTube Celtic Supporters Club. Today, we want to go through yesterday's game, and today I'm joined by my usual colleague Mark and a debut for Roberto. Roberto, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mark,
Delighted
how
to
are
be
you?
here.
I'm good. Man of many words, Roberto.
Yes, I'm sure that'll change. I'm
That
sure
will
that'll
definitely
change
change.
throughout the videos. So we want to just go through yesterday's game. Good points, bad points. Get Robert and Mark's opinion on that. We lined up with Sinisalo, Taylor, Scales, Carter Vickers, and Ralston as the back four. A midfield three of Hatate, McGregor, Engels, and then a front three of Maida, Ida, and Forrest. I'll go to you first, Robert. What did you think of the lineup when you seen it?
I thought at the beginning, once it just started, and you think, this is what we've got now. But no, I thought as the game went on, we played really, really well, and great spells.
Marky boy, your thoughts on the lineup when you saw it coming out?
I was hoping Forrest would start. We spoke about that before. I was glad he started. I know couldn't ended up with an injury anyway. Ralston was my worry. Not played for a wee while. We spoke about that. He's only started 7 games and played 20. Maybe not defensively, you spoke about, but going forward, that's kind of how it panned out. It didn't give as much going forward, but pretty solid at the back. Apart from that, was kind of what we'd said. That was a lineup we predicted, Brian, to be honest. So I wasn't surprised by it.
Yeah, I wasn't myself. I thought that was, as Robert mentioned, that's kind of what we had to work with. We've not got any other right backs. I don't know if Rodgers is maybe no fancying Trusty Renew, you know what I mean? He's not kind of giving him that opportunity, because I don't think did he start the other game, the 3-2 game? I don't think Brendan's likes to look at him now. So Scales, midfield three, I probably would have said the same myself. And up front, Maeda and Forrest was the best we were going to get, you know what I mean, with the injuries that we've got. First half, I was came in spits and spats. I think, sometimes we would kind of seem to have a grip of the midfield, but then the other times there was I thought Raskin was their best player. I thought Raskin ran the show the whole game. That's 3, and that's just my opinion. That's 3 Celtic Rangers games where Engels and McGregor have not had the grip of that. Hatate, I thought was all right. His passing, his ability to keep the ball yesterday, but I thought Engels and McGregor could have done better. The goal, the first goal, the offside goal, poor defending from set pieces, but on the other side of things, we kind of kept a good line. I think we done that throughout the game. We kept a good line that kind of kept him offside, but set pieces were a worry every time they got a free kick or a corner in there. What do you think, Mark? What did you see from that kind of the set piece defending?
Kind of tying in with what you're saying. Every time they got a free kick or a corner, I was like, oh no. I thought Scales was atrocious at the start. He was all over the map. Miles away from Balogun. Balogun should have scored that. That should have been a goal. And I think he had a bad first half. Maybe a wee bit better in the second half, apart from that, when he was tracking Niggerman and fell on his backside. I thought McGregor was marked out of the game. I think that's what happened. They took him out of the game, and Engels started the first 5 minutes all right, and then just like you're saying, Raskin had him in his back pocket, which is not great. Don't think it wasn't disastrous. I think when he got the ball, when he was further forward, he was a lot better than he was when he was deeper. But I think Raskin had him.
Yeah. Robert, yourself?
I think the key thing was, just as you alluded to the midfield there, is there was a lot of things that was discussed about. They're playing the diamond, which I thought to see that diamond in the midfield when you were talking about McGregor and Hatate. I thought once they set up, it would leave a lot of room in the left-hand side. And I think the main worry was for them, for us to go long and just attack Tavernier's side, which would create the space. So, but again, these games you want to play nice, tip-tap football the way Celtic do. But again, I think the long ball, they couldn't handle the long ball at times, which we still have.
Lost you. I think just picking up from what Robert's saying there, that's, remember we were talking about it in the last video, Brian, what we're getting for Taylor, and I was talking about, I don't think Taylor had a brilliant game, but looking back on it, and I know we spoke through the game, I think Maeda sold him short quite a lot. Maeda was coming short instead of, because I think we've scored the goal for it, that ball over the top, and that's what I said to you, that when they've got that press, we'll just flick the ball over the top, and that's where the goal came from. And
Yep.
Taylor's ball was short to Maeda. Maeda was coming deep with him, right, when he should have been looking to spin and force Taylor to play it longer. But Taylor's passing, I didn't think his passing was great yesterday.
It wasn't his best game, I must confess. Right away within the first 16 minutes, he must have gave the ball away 3 times. And I thought, I don't know if it was just everything that's happening in the background with him, but I just felt that the occasion, the game, he was overawed a wee bit.
Yeah, to pick up Mark's point about Taylor's passing, we had a wee kind of back and forward on WhatsApp, and I agree with you in terms of Taylor's passing, but I thought Maeda, like for the first couple of times where there was a pass down and Tavernier stepped in front of him, he never learned, he never was ahead of the game, he never kind of get to have any problems at all in the first half. And obviously you can look at the passing if there was a ball at the top, and that's where we got our joy out of it. But I thought Maeda was off it yesterday. I thought he was off it.
Can I just say, did you know why? Sort of interrupt there, Brian. Did you know why? He was in Japan all week. His wife's having a baby, so he was in Japan all week, and he flew back late. And Rodgers was actually thinking he wasn't going to play him. So there's an element of jet lag there.
I did not know that, mate. So that's it's a great bit of insight there. I never knew that. So that's obviously going to have have an effect. But
he was tired.
Yeah, well, he got his just results in the Player of the Year awards, which will come on at the end. But yeah, so that first offside, the first chance for Balogun was a warning. You know what I mean? And I watched the highlights again this morning, and Scales is running across, and somebody kind of blocks him a wee bit, and he kind of loses a bit of momentum. But he's even if somebody doesn't block him, he's well away from Balogun. Balogun's completely isolated, boom, header off the bar, which is a worry. And then as you look at the remaining the half, the set pieces side of things, that's where they got the most joy. We go up the park. I think it was a wee bits and bobs. We didn't really have a lot of chances, a lot of kind of half chances, missed possession and stuff. I think their only major chance of the first half was Ida running through, and I don't know, man. No, sorry, I tell a lie. Before that, Ida robs the defender, and then he puts Forrest through with a weak pass. I think that doesn't give Forrest enough. Forrest kind of blamed himself a wee bit, like, oh. But I thought Ida should have put him through. But that probably good as a first goal.
Poor pass. Totally. I was going off my nut at that point. I had Celtic. I had about three bets on Celtic to win 2-1. I had Ida, Maeda, which they got me 60. Maeda bumped us for £60 with that last kick of the ball, and then I had 2-1 Celtic with Forrest to score. And I was like, but he sold him short. It's a rubbish pass, man. We Forrest would have went in and scored there if he'd just played that out in front of him. Just get it out, let him run at it. I think he would have went in and scored.
I think if Celtic went in 1-0 at the start, in the first half, I do feel we would have won and maybe scored 2 or 3. Especially, again, I know we'll look to that later, but the chance at the very, very end. And he just
got to square it.
He didn't
got to square it, man.
Just didn't look up. There's 2 in the middle, and he didn't look up. But it's a game. It's half chances and misses that can sway the game either way. But we'll take the draw.
Yeah, definitely. And then Dessers gets the goal. Scales has to be stronger for me. He's literally, Dessers is a big bloke. You know what I mean? So he's strong, but I think if it's CCV, it's a different story. You know what I mean? He's standing up and he's pushing him away towards goal. But Scales has to be stronger, and it was just typical in it. You go up the park, miss a chance, and then they go and
It
take
was
the
originally
lead.
a short corner for us.
Yes, mate. Yes, it was a wasted opportunity. But putting my impartial or my honest head on, I think Rangers probably deserve to be, up at the half. Then we get into half time. I thought Kalmack was nowhere. Engels was nowhere. I thought Raskin had ran the show. We come into the second half and we look better, obviously, after Brendan's had a chat to him and we get the goal. But I didn't see us really doing much after that. You know what I mean? It was kind of missed chances here and there, apart from the Maeda thing. What do you think, Mark? What do your assessment on the second half? How we done? How we looked?
I think it petered out, like you're saying. I think we get the goal, playing some good football, but you could see it had a draw written all over it for me. It was like the two teams. It was like an end of season, nothing in it game. I know it's Celtic Rangers, and by the way, my heart was pounding. See that full first half, and I'm like, there's nothing in this. Don't worry about it. But my heart was absolutely bounding at my chest for the full first half for some reason. I thought that Sinisalo had a good game and all. Just want to put that out there. I quite like him. I think second half it just petered out. I think we scored a good goal. He does take that well. Like we spoke about, I think if we had played more of the balls, I think Taylor played another one inside both Tav and Maeda along the deck, and Maeda's and see if we'd have just kept playing that. Tav hates running towards his own goals, not fast enough, he's not got it. See if we just keep flicking the balls over the top. The way we got that goal was a great wee ball for Taylor, right? It was, got to say it, great wee flick in. And Maeda's just in. We get a bit of luck. And then Biggie does touch, by the way, that's class. That is gravy for me, man. That wee flick and then rattles it. It's a good goal, I think. But after that, I think the game's done. I think Big Bernardo coming on looked very good. I thought he looked good. Engels, I would have, I know it's hindsight, right? But maybe to put him on before Engels, because when he gets the ball, he drives at players. He's stronger as well for me. I would like to see him in the run up to the game.
You might see it, mate. I'll try and find it and send it to you on the WhatsApp, mate. There's an image where it shows you the camera from behind the goal looking at Maeda and Tav as he's running, and Tav is literally like, he's so terrified. Like Maeda's, have you saw it? Aye, he's like the terror in his face. He must see that Maeda like that in his nightmares, but I thought that was good. Yes, definitely agree. For me, Bernardo is good. He's got better tenacity. I think he's good at digging out the wee, winning loose balls and stuff. And I think he's better suited to go up against Raskin. But at the end of that chance of Maeda, he's got to square it to Kenny. I like Kenny. I know you might take the pew at me for this, but it reminds me of Gary Hooper. See the way he moves about, in terms of when we go to the break of the ball, he burst a gut to get right into the box, and it reminded me, see when Hooper scored that goal, we slid in and he boomed it right at the bottom. I think it was Chris Commons or Rizagiri put the ball across from him. I think we beat Rangers 3-0. Going back a bit, we break the ball. Samaras gets the break of the ball, and Hooper absolutely bolts for the halfway line and managed to slide it in. It reminded me of that with the way Kenny was busting a gut to get into the box, and Maeda's got to score it, and that's an ultimate sucker punch. You know what I mean? Because we probably never deserved a 3 points, but for the masses in Ibrox taking dog's abuse after Huns, I thought it would have been a nice wee fitting end to the game. But it's just, we should have done more. For me personally, Kalmack has had 3 games against Rangers with Raskin, and he's not come out the top. You know what I mean? So I think we need to do something there, because Raskin's going to walk about as if he owns a gaff next time we play him.
I think he's.
What'd you say, Robert?
You gave my idea the tiredness. Just chalk it down. I think he scored 30. I think I was hearing 36 goals. Is it?
Is it 36?
Something like that,
Wow.
I don't know. Something like that. I was watching one of the Celtic fans TV and the boys were talking about it, and I think he said it's 36. But I think he's knackered, man. Like you're saying, he was away in Japan. His main wife's having a baby and all that, and he looked tired the whole game for me.
Can I just go back to something you were talking about, Brian, there, especially with Kenny? What's your two guys' thoughts of the young guys coming through?
Well, there was Kenny. I think there was Mercado, somebody Mercado on the bench. So I'm not too sure about that, but we're going to kind of maybe look at that in the new season. But we think there's not enough coming through. There's not enough coming through. If you look at but on the flip side, Rocco Vata, Daniel, what was the boy who went to Millwall? Daniel Kelly. There's been a 2 or 3 young boys that have left that have been highly rated, but they've not done anything. You know what I mean? Look at Matt O'Reilly. Look at Kyogo. You know what I mean? It's tough to make an impact, but I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more young players coming through. You know what I mean? Forrest, McGregor, Ralston. You know, those boys have been there for 10 years. You know,
Where's your
Brendan
next
Rodgers
wave?
when he.
I
Aye,
think
that's it.
Johnson was
We need
probably
to
the last
bring
one.
more.
Mikey Johnson was probably the last guy, so we spoke about this before. I was reading the other day, they've just let. I think Celtic need to be a bit more cutthroat with these wee guys. See if they're not good enough, you need to get rid of them. There's no point in having them right through till you get to the Glasgow Cup and all that, and then they get into the B team, and then they're just letting them go. They've let Lewis Dobby go. So wee guy Lewis Dobby, who was in the B team, he's been told he's not getting his contract renewed. There's a wee keeper who's been out on loan. He's not getting his contract renewed, and there's another wee kid. I would love to see players start coming through again. I think we need to have a model at Ajax. We need to start bringing players through, and you need to start trusting players. I know it's really important that you win the league and all that, right? But there's no point in having the academy. There's no point in it. Right now, there is 0 point in it. You make 200 grand, 300 grand from one player. Probably pays for the academy for what, I don't know. I don't even know if it pays for the academy. I might be talking rubbish here, but it's a total waste of time. They need to up the ante big time. I know they're doing something. That's the site across the
Barrowfield.
parkhead, but they need to fix it. They need to sort it out.
That's done. That's finished. That's cost them £20 million. It's the back of Barrowfield. There's
Barrowfield,
a white dome, and that's going to be the headquarters for the B team and the women's team. So they've spent it. It's done. The investment's there. So they need to justify it. You know what I mean? You need to
quality players. If they're not going to
bring the players through.
Nobody's coming through. They need better quality. They need to get rid of the players that they think they're not going to cut it, and then start bringing players in. I don't know if it's maybe bring players in for other teams, or maybe we need a bit better coaches. We need a new coaching system. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think Celtic know what the answer is either.
There's an element of there's an element of that. But there's an element of the league situation. There's no reserve league. You know what I mean? You go. Is it a B? You know, the Lowland League. The Colts, the young Celtic and Rangers squads go in and play there. It's not enough. It's not competitive. You know what I mean? You're not driving the young boys like. Because if you look at McGregor and all that, they'd have played reserve league. You know, in the reserve teams, you were. I think you're allowed 2 or 3 adult. You know, bigger. You know, kind of main squad players. So you're playing against men. You learn that toughness straight away, and there's an element of that. But yeah, definitely even for the country. You know what I mean? You want young boys coming through for Scotland because it will help us in the long run. But what's your overall thoughts on how we done against Rangers this season? I think they've bested us. You know what I mean? We played 5.
Agreed.
We won technically 1-1, 3-0. We drew in the cup final. We beat twice once convincingly at Ibrox, and then drew one. Overall, you're still 16 points, 17 points clear. You've won it, you know, which is down to Rangers not being as good. But I think we've not dominated the Old Firm games this season, which is difficult to see. But Robert,
You're 100%. Laterally speaking, bear in mind that was the first time the last game that they beat us at Parky for 5 years. So that's broke a wee bit of a hoodoo there. And I feel some of the players going into these games, they feel a wee bit intimidated of the fear factor, knowing fine well that this game could end up either way. Whereas prior to that, you were always certain that Celtic would go in and win 2-0, 3-0. If Rangers get the odd goal here and there, it was expected. But I think now, showing yesterday, and as you quite rightly says earlier there, regards to your reserve players like Ralston, some of the players that don't get regular games, the quality or the difference in quality or the gulf was there to be seen. Especially when these guys aren't playing regular. Some might argue where somebody like a Tony Ralston, and I'm not picking on him. I'm definitely not picking on him. But somebody like a Tony Ralston, I think he's got to the stage of his career where he knows his place in that squad.
Yeah.
He definitely knows his place, but it could always be the fall guy, somebody like that. But bearing in mind, when you're talking about for Scotland, he's been in the last 4 or 5 games the starter right back for Scotland when he's not been playing
Yeah.
for his team. So it balances that argument in a sense.
No, but they don't
Yeah,
have any right backs. So Scotland have got no fit right backs. That's why Ralston's playing.
No, definitely.
He's like there's no really anybody else to challenge him.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I think was it Stephen O'Donnell, Motherwell?
Wee boy for Hearts as well, I think.
Wee
Was
boy
it
for
was in that shout?
Hearts. Is it Penrice? No, I'm not too sure. But there is not a lot of competition. I thought, me personally, it's just my opinion. I think Bernardo's better in the midfield. Maybe you should give it, Brendan should give him a shot against that. But yeah, I think we need to do better. But there's an element of, we've dominated them continuously. They're going to get better. They're going to get better. They're going to improve. You know what I mean? They can't keep just taking scalpings all the time, and maybe there's an element of complacency from us. But I thought that overall, in the balance of play, we've not turned up in a few games. The final was the worst, man. We went 3-2 up, and then literally 20 seconds later, you're losing a goal, and it's like 88 minutes, 89 minutes. That is just bad. Bad management. That's just weak. That's just my personal opinion. That comes for the captain. The captain's got to, drive that. But yeah, so overall, we can't really moan. We've won in the league by 17 points. We're going for another treble. So, but it's just these games in isolation which get really, really focused on. I think we've not done as well as we should. But we're all of a similar age. We know we've all been through the 90s. Where there's no success, so you take it where you get it. And even back then, you know what I mean. Even though we were no winning leagues, we always seem to get a good wee derby win or two. You know what I mean. So I think it's kind of like that. Overall, I thought we should have done better, but you can't complain with the draw. I think it was maybe a fair result. Just wanted to kind of go through the Celtic had the Player of the Year award last night, which is good to see. The hat trick for Dyson.
Wait. What about the Tifo?
What about the Tifo? Rangers Rebel
What about
scum.
the Tifo? Let's not let them away with that. Come on. You cannot let them away without talking about that. That was disgraceful, by the way.
image was?
Graham Souness.
Yeah.
It's an absolute disgrace. BBC even blurred it out. It's terrible. And then the fucking flinging bottles on again. So it's terrible, man. It's ridiculous. I can't believe that they've actually thought that would be all right. I know we've had a couple of bad ones in the past, that hanging effigy and stuff, but I know there's been bad wares, but that's bad.
Me personally, I'm not bothered about that either. You know what I mean? Because to be fair, I think the hanging effigy, we cannot even fake indignation or shame about these tifos, man.
No.
We're just as bad. You know what I mean? I don't get me wrong. It's not nice, but it's a symptom of the modern kind of ultra thing. But we cannot point fingers about tifos. No chance.
I'm pointing fingers. I am pointing fingers. I am not having that, by the way. You can say what you want, but I'm not having that at all.
Of course.
Big shotgun pointed right at the Celtic fans. It was right at the Celtic fans. The way they'd done it and set it up, it was pointed right at the Celtic fans. I'm not having that at all.
Robert, your opinion on the tifo?
Again, I'm just listening to your comments here. Originally, as soon as I seen it, I was a wee bit. But now is 24 hours later. I can go with yourself, Brian. We can't point fingers at the moment, no.
But yeah, the tifo has generated some headlines this morning in the Scottish papers and stuff. But as I say, it's just me. You know, we can't go. Oh, if you're continually doing it, you know, hangman effigies and all that. But yeah, I get it. I get it. The bottle's different story. That's why Celtic had to put nets up and stuff. I saw Rangers come out with a statement, unacceptable, etc., etc. But you're not going to do anything. They're never going to stop it because it happens every single time. Even their subs had to run on and pick up half a half bucket bottle. Like, what sort of look is that? That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
so yeah, I definitely think something has to be done to that, and it will keep happening because the SFA won't do anything substantial. They'll put a statement out, oh, it's terrible, blah blah, condemn. You need to hammer clubs the way UEFA and FIFA hammer Celtic for, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, mate. Different opinion on the tifo side of things, but you know, it's not. I take your point. It's not good to see at a game rebel scum, shotguns and stuff like that. It's inciting violence already within a volatile fixture. But I think, you know, from what we've done before, I think we're kind of a bit rich coming out with that. But it's all about opinions. You want to go through the player of the year? You want to wait till Robert comes back? We can try and snip this bit.
Coming back, mate. It's just messaged me saying that his internet's crashed. Yours is a bit okay and all, mate. You've froze like 3/4 of the video. As long as it's freezing on your handsome face, it's all right.
We just wanted to run through the kind of summary of the Celtic Player of the Year awards last night. Young Kyle Ure got Academy Player of the Year. Arnie Engels got Young Player of the Year. Women's Player of the Year was Shannon McGregor, and Men's Player of the Year was Dyson Maeda. There was also an awards voted for by fellow professionals, and Women's Player of the Year was Sarah Barclays. Men's Player of the Year was Dyson Maeda, and Women's Player of the Year was Sorsa Noonan. Special recognition award goes to James Forrest for his 26 trophies, and goal of the season was CCV against Kilmarnock, which was a great goal.
No, he'd got that.
And women's goal of the season was Shannon McGregor against FC Gintra in the Women's Champions League. And also on the same night, PFA Scotland held their players, their awards. And Dyson Maeda won League Player of the Year, Players Player of the Year. John McGlynn, Manager of the Year. And Lennon Miller, Young Player of the Year. What do you think about that, Mark? Specifically the PFA Scotland, the League One? Do you think Brendan was done for Manager of the Year?
Who won it?
John McGlynn, Falkirk.
You're joking me.
Yeah, I
think if you've won a treble, you've won. Well, you've not won it yet, but if he's about to win it, they should maybe wait until after the cup final and end of the Player of the Year. I can see why he was in me a shout, and I know he was in me a shout for his Super Scoreboard. I think he's done a great job, actually, the boy John McGlynn. It'll be good to see Falkirk Cup instead of Livingston, man. I was dreading Livingston coming up.
Yeah, the pitch, just horrible style of play.
Falkirk have got a plastic pitch as well, but it's meant to be one of the brand new pitches, and it's meant to be.
Yeah, I think it's a next gen. It's aye.
And they're talking about ripping it up and putting grass in the year after. I think Brendan's done it for me. I think he should have had it, but
yeah, I think
it was a shoe-in, man. He was always a shoe-in.
McGlynn got successive promotions. Falkirk went from League One to Championship, and then Championship. I think they were unbeaten going from League One to Championship, or they'd lost one game, a couple of draws, so they'd done really, really well. I think the Arfield signing was a masterstroke for Falkirk. You know what I mean? It kind of got them that bit of experience. But yeah, if you're in the Premiership, the Premier League, and you're winning well, and you're winning, I think that's the pinnacle of the Scottish game. So if you're the manager of a team that's smashing that, then I think you should get recognition. Lennon Miller, Young Player of the Year. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, good player, good wee player. I'd like us to to go and sign him. Actually, I would like us to go and spend a wee bit of money, even if it's 4.5 million. Just go and get it done. He could be the future of the midfield. When you're talking about Callum McGregor, how many months has he got left? How many years has he got left? 2, 3. This wee guy, bring this wee guy in, and I think he's and he'll be you're counting for your Scottish contingent as well. So I like Lennon Miller.
Aye, Robert, we're just mentioning the kind of summary on the
Sorry,
player
guys.
of the year. So obviously from a Celtic point of view, Maeda ended up with a hat-trick. Top goal scorer, player of the year, and also players player of the year. In the league awards, PFA Scotland award, he won the player of the year. John McGlynn got manager of the year as opposed to Brendan, or I don't know if there was any other notable nominees. And then young Lennon Miller gets young player of the year.
Mhm.
You agree with that? Any thoughts on that?
I think it's Lennon Miller's going to be a prospect. Don't read too much into it, but rumours have it that he's behind the scenes. He's touted to go to Celtic. I don't know if there's anything behind that, but definitely he's one for the future.
Yeah, great player, and
Would
the
you
fact
take
he's been.
him?
It's a very, very competitive position for Celtic. You know, you've got Engels, 21. You've just put 11 million for him. Bernardo, Luke McCowan. That we've invested in him. Where do you bring in Lennon Miller and just let him skip the queue with Luke McCowan and stuff like that? Me personally, no, I like McCowan. I think McCowan's got that intelligence. I think he's got that range of passing. I like him, but yeah.
Can I ask, where do you think Luke McCowan's role is going forward for next season in Rodgers' eyes? Because there's certain games that he will bring him on, but like the game yesterday, I don't think he was ever near the pitch. He was never going to go on. What do you think?
But I think me looking at him, I think, and maybe that's why I never put him on, because McGregor was not had a grip of the game. I think he's very similar to McGregor, left-sided, tidy passer, that side of things. I think, me personally would be McGregor's successor, not as captain or anything like that, but that position, that 6, the link in between, because I think he's got the passing ability and the game intelligence. But I don't, he's maybe not got that dig, that presence where he runs a game, which McGregor does with his football, but he's not got that, kind of presence, you would say. I like McCowan. I think he's tidy. He's very smart, intelligent football player, but I don't know where he. I would have him as kind of McGregor's, apprentice, understudy, just following McGregor, kind of how he plays, how he positions himself on the pitch. Mark, your thoughts on Luke McCowan?
I like him. I think when you're talking about the midfield, I think it's our strongest area. I don't see Hatate being here much longer. I think he's getting to the end of his cycle with Celtic. I think he's got maybe another year if he doesn't go in this window. I like McCowan, but you're right. He doesn't get a hold of games. He doesn't come in and actually get a grip of it. But you're right when McGregor's not either with the last maybe 2 or 3 Celtic Rangers games. But Rangers have marked him out the game. I think they've had two people on him the whole time, and but that should then free up people like Hatate and stuff. But McCowan, I like him, but I don't know if he's McGregor's successor.
So where would you put Lennon Miller in a Celtic midfield?
I don't know. I would like him. I think he's just a young, strong Scottish footballer. I watch a wee bit of Motherwell's. My father-in-law's a season ticket holder, and he's very technical, the wee guy, and he's just a good player. I think he'd be a good player to bring in. If you're talking about spending 4.5 million, they're going to go in and need to freshen things up anyway. Do you know what I mean? But it's probably not the area that you need to spend money in. I think we need a striker and we need a winger with Jota out. So although I would like him to come in, I don't know if it's something Celtic will do.
Yeah, been an interesting summer. We'll see, kind of who goes where. So just going to finish up for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you like the video, turn the bell on for the notifications, and most importantly, subscribe and comment. We want your feedback. We want to kind of get the conversation going. What do you think about yesterday's game? Good, bad, and ugly. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.
Ciao.